Bungie over the last 20 years or so have had an extremely limited catalog. The first three Halos, Destiny 1 and 2, and Crimson Steam Pirates? Never heard of that one before, that's a mouthful. But as of April 12th, Bungie has announced that they're going to be releasing a new extraction shooter called Marathon. This game looks very interesting to say the least. I've played a good bit of Tarkov, probably about 50 to 75 hours worth, and for what it was, I can say that I enjoyed it, but it really just wasn't for me. It's a very hardcore game with a lot of depth and things for the player to figure out, to the point where it's just too much for me. But to be honest, I didn't think Bungie of all companies would jump headfirst into such a niche genre. The gunplay of this game looks very Bungie. Whether you like that is up to you to decide, but for me it feels very stiff at times, which is one of my biggest complaints of Destiny 2. But for what it's worth, it looks like the same gunplay has been improved upon, especially when the player's ADS, which is where I ran into the stiffness. Movement is very key in shooters in the year of 2025, and it's partially for the reason as to why I quit Tarkov. Everything was sluggish and very vanilla, therefore it didn't hit that itch in my brain where I'm always thinking about how I can move differently and outplay people with said movement. This game looks like it has the potential to be very fast paced and hit that version of movement that I'm talking about. They showed off a slide in the game as well as an ability that you can activate that makes you run a bit faster, which is very intriguing to me. But if they're going to be copying and pasting Destiny 2 movement into this game, it might not be the game that I'm expecting. Teammate resing is a very interesting direction that Bungie is taking. In most extraction shooters, Tarkov mainly, when your teammate dies, that's it. They lose all their loot and have to pretty much watch you play out the rest of the run. In one case, I hate being that player who dies and has to sit on their phone for the rest of the run. All that teaches me is to uninstall the game because I'm not having fun. But on the other hand, it gives you more of a sense of the risk of dying, telling the player if you die, that's it. You're going to lose potentially hours of progress. But this makes the genre as a whole have a very niche audience, as most players quit after a few hours because they're playing spectating simulator. So objectively, I think teammate resing is a very good idea. You might still lose your loot, but if your teammate is able to hide and wait out whoever picked you off, you still have a chance of getting out with some kind of loot, which makes the game accessible and less punishing to a larger group of players. The biggest worry I have for this game is microtransactions. Titles like Escape from Tarkov are absolutely riddled with countless pay-to-win microtransactions, offering the player boosts to the vendor reps, additional stash space, weapons, and much more. With some of the game's additions reaching upwards of $250, all under the guise of it being to support the developers when the game is already buy to play. And on top of that, having the gall to make the players download another shitty launcher. I bring this up because one of Bungie's biggest titles, being Destiny 2, is notorious for having some of the most egregious microtransactions in the game to date. For those of you who don't know about Destiny 2 and how the game works, I'll go ahead and explain it to you. Destiny 2 is a free to play game. In actual reality, if you want to have any semblance of fun or do any of the content that is put into the game over the past 8 years, you have to go and buy said specific expansion that is the content you want to do, and then you get to play the game. But can you just buy the most recent expansion and all the previous content? You think it could be something that easy? No, if you want all the content in the game in terms of expansions, you're going to have to pay $50 for the current expansion and $70 for the Legacy Collection. And there's a very good chance that this isn't all the content, as I'm not the most knowledgeable about Destiny 2 and its history. But where's the pay to win, you ask? I'm getting there. When I played the game in 2021, Gjallarhorn was one of the best weapons in the entire game, and for the longest time I had no idea how to get it. Well, I do now. What you had to do was, after already buying the Witch Queen expansion for $50, you had to go and shell out another $20 to $30 for Bungie's 30th anniversary pack, which included a new exotic quest, Gjallarhorn, a dungeon called the Grasp of Avarice they had to do to get Gjallarhorn after completing a long quest line, and one dungeon key in order to do the content that you've already paid for. The pay to win aspect comes in because Gjallarhorn is just so good. Not having it means you do less DPS and boss fights, hence taking longer to complete said content. Oh, but that's just paid for convenience. You don't have to get it.
Ah! Rigby! Ah!
Let's head over to MS Paint real quick. Alright, so I'm on MS Paint for you all, and I've drawn up a little bit of a diagram, and we're just going to explain how everything correlates on the screen. We got pay to win, pay for convenience, money, and time. So how does time relate to everything on the screen? Well, time is money. This is true. You got to spend time to make your money. So we'll just say these two are equal. So time is money. And what can you do with money? Well, you can pay to win in a video game, maybe. That's pretty convenient. So you're paying for convenience. And what is convenience? It's saving time. See how these relate? My point is, pay to win is the same as paying for convenience. It's the same exact thing because your time is everything to you. Because without time, you cannot make money. So, we have established that time is money. Therefore, people who don't have 10 hours a day to slave away on Destiny 2 all day are going to pay for said convenience in order to feel like they're winning faster. Because if the player ever stops winning, they're gonna stop playing. This is kind of turned into a Destiny 2 rant video at this point. If you want to check out a video talking about the microtransactions of Destiny 2, I recommend to go check out Aztec Cross's video on it. He does a more in-depth discussion of Destiny 2 as a whole, but what I'm trying to get across is beware pay-to-win aspects when this game comes out. If you already didn't like Bungie's practices before watching this video, vote with your wallets, because big corporations and companies never change until they start losing money. Another smaller point that I want to mention is the art style. I just don't know how I fully feel about it. I like how all the colors aren't super saturated to the point where it makes the game look cartoony, and I appreciate the environments they created, but what's with that character design? For me personally, it's just super weird, and honestly I just don't know what I'm looking at here because none of the characters look exactly cool. If you're looking forward to the game, tell me how wrong my opinions are in the comments below. If you're optimistic but skeptical, I'm in the same boat with you because this game can either be really, really good or Concord too. If you guys did enjoy that video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.